12 News Eye on Agriculture with Britton Rucker.
Lawmakers have until tomorrow to figure out if they want to pass a new farm bill or extend the current one. Hear from one Kansas farmer what needs to stay in business. Plus, ahead of the 2024 presidential election, many are wondering where the two sides stand on pressing issues in agriculture. We'll break down where Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump see agriculture headed. Good evening and welcome into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. Big banks are pressed to stop financing livestock production over climate concerns. In an open letter from Friends of Earth, it singles out JPMorgan Chase, Bank of America, and other institutions for their support of food giants like JBS, saying lending activities undermine the sector's environmental commitments. The letter called to halt to new financing that expands or maintains industrial livestock production and to add requirements that meat, dairy, and feed clients disclose their climate action plans.
These cows work hard for us. You got to keep them healthy, happy, and everything they want.
California regulators sounding the alarm as bird flu sweeps through the state's dairy herds. The California Department of Food and Agriculture says 34 herds throughout the state are infected with bird flu. It isn't necessarily fatal to dairy cows, but it does decrease their milk production. According to the University of Nebraska Medicine, companies have started working on a vaccine for cows, but production is still in its early phases. Lawmakers are working on the farm bill. The current bill expires on Monday, and lawmakers must decide whether they want to pass a new farm bill or extend the current one for a second time. The farm bill includes important funding like subsidies for nutritional programs like SNAP and supports farmers. So fifth-generation Sedgwick County farmer Kit Winters says farming continues to get more and more expensive and prices continues to go up because of inflation. But he says important safety nets like crop insurance remains the same. Winters says the longer we go without a new farm bill, the harder things get for farmers.
The crop insurance program needs some updates, and also the reference prices. The system is severely outdated due to all of the inflation that's taken place over the last several years. So it's incredibly important that they get something done on this thing so that the farms and ranches in Kansas and the U.S. can maintain economic sustainability.
Farmers like Winter are worried if the current farm bill is just extended, farming will become too expensive and less sustainable. Ahead of the November presidential election, we are taking a look at where Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump stand on federal agricultural policy. Take a look at this. According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, Trump supports increasing commodity price supports, improving crop insurance, and focusing on innovation to keep ahead of China. Harris highlights the Biden administration's initiative to protect the small farmers from unfair competition, citing Trump's previous proposals for deep cuts to critical farming programs. Now, in farm policy and programs, Trump emphasized strengthening crop insurance and risk management programs, as well as supporting beginning farmers and ranchers. Now, Harris focused on defending programs that allow farmers and ranchers to prosper, criticizing Trump's proposed cuts to essential farming programs. And then on labor, both were vague here. Trump says he supports a merit-based immigration. Harris advocates for immigration reform to benefit the economy and farmers. Governor Laura Kelly announces the second round of grant recipients as part of the Rural Championship program. The program aims to help rural communities if a lack of cash or other resources slows progress on things like housing, downtown revitalization, or food access. Each community gets $20,000 of a stipend and other assistance. They also receive more money at the end of the year. You can find the list of selected areas on the links we mentioned page at kwch.com. And take a look at this. Cell phone video captures a moment several bulls escaped a rodeo in a parking lot. Now, this happened in Massachusetts. The bulls later end up in a neighborhood. One homeowner says 6 of the bulls hung out in his backyard for about half an hour. Officials later brought all the fencing needed to corral the bulls from the Mooney's backyard and put safely on a trailer. It was entertaining, to say the least, for neighbors, but also dangerous.
So I'm glad they didn't hit the pool. They didn't hit nothing else. Yeah, I'm glad that was fenced off back there, and they all just stopped. So there's a lot of kids around here. We don't want anybody getting hurt.
Yeah, no injuries were reported. All of the remaining bulls were captured. Still ahead on Eye on Agriculture, after a devastating fire tore through an Ohio dairy, their neighbors helping pick up the pieces. That story just ahead.